بشه. Okay. Think we're live.
Amazing, we're live.
We're live.
People are joining already. This is great. This is great. Hi everyone. Seen some familiar names there as well from the community. Hi Jim. Jim Firstein is there. Amazing. Where's everyone joining from today? Love to hear where you are. I'm in Dublin in Ireland. And Ido is in Tel Aviv. How's the weather there in Tel Aviv, Ido?
Extremely hot.
Yeah.
Extremely hot.
We had a heat wave here and everyone in Ireland is melting.
So me and Matanya had a table tennis ping pong session right before the webinar. It was very hot and sweaty.
And Ireland is melting. Nice. Well, it's maybe not as hot as we've got Barty there in Atlanta. It must be pretty warm in Atlanta right now, and Rahul in India. And hey, Shuri in Tel Aviv, we've got you there as well. Amazing. This is great, folks. Great to see you. Oh, US, Ohio. Hi, Nina.
Nice.
This is great. All over the world. All over the world. Great to see so many faces here as well, familiar faces from the community. Welcome, everyone. I think we're ready to kick off, Ido. What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it. Singapore, amazing. This is great. San Francisco, Belgium, Las Vegas, 113 degrees. Can't beat that, Ido. Can't beat 113 degrees in Tel Aviv, I don't think. Well, welcome, folks. Welcome to our second webinar in our new Tabula Rasa series. We are so excited to be here today. And look, we're also really excited to be again joined by members of the EditorX technical design team. We've got Ido here, who's hosting the webinar today, and Matanya's here as well. And we're here for this live web creation experience. We're literally going to encounter a never before seen design, and Ido is going to be building that in real time while answering your questions. And you'll also get a close look at some of the latest EditorX features, which I'm super excited about. And listen, we really encourage you to ask questions and participate in a discussion during these sessions. This is live, it's authentic, it's really raw. And there's no rules when it comes to Tabula Rasa. And that's what we think makes them really interesting and really exciting. And before I kick off, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, Ido, right? Because I think it's really important to give a little bit of background context as to how Tabula Rasa came about, because I know from talking to you and from talking to the team that it really is a labor of love from the team. And maybe you can kind of give us a little bit of background context to that and how it all came about and why we're here today.
Yes, definitely. I think that there's really much to gain from seeing and creating doing some web development, like in a situation which is not rehearsed, not scripted, not like sort of from a vibe where I do a rehearsal and I know exactly what I'm going to build and I know exactly what I'm going to work on. And I think it's more close to how a real world designer or web builder would experience the editor. We might have some like things that don't go exactly as we want them to go along the way. We might run into some challenges, and I think that's the best way to learn and to grow and to get creative in EditorX. And I think it's the perfect setting.
I agree. And, you know, we hear it in the community all the time. People say, what's the best way to learn EditorX? And everybody always says, just get in there, get stuck in, start playing around with the editor, or even to just build your skills. And, you know, sometimes maybe that can be a little bit lonely to do by yourself. And it's great to be able to come together and see how other people do it. And, you know, to learn from the pros as well, and understand that, like, you guys are always constantly learning as well, Ido, right?
every time I go into the editor, every time I have a new project, whether it's like building marketing material for Editor X, which is basically my day-to-day job. But I always run into challenges. Our design team is creating these beautiful designs, these beautiful websites for us to build, and it's always a challenge because they're always pushing us further. And I think we're growing every day as we go along.
Amazing. And I just have to shout out how much we're seeing the growth here, because like, wow, we've got Hector in Paris, Monica's in New York, Louise, somebody else in Toronto, Switzerland, Venezuela, Pakistan. This is amazing, guys. Wow. Brazil, welcome everyone. Well, look, before we kick off, just to let everyone know, we're here on Zoom. We're also live streaming to the Editor X community official Facebook group. For anybody who's not part of that already, please do come along and say hi and join, because we are always having these conversations, and there's a lot of great content and a lot of great creators who are talking there. So we'll provide the link to that, and also to the Editor X community forum as well. And I have to also give a shout out to Ido for the great content that he's creating all the time as well. Ido has a YouTube channel called World of Editor X. So just search World of Editor X in YouTube, and I'll also share that link in the chat. You definitely need to check that out, folks. And also I Love Editor X on YouTube as well is another one of our channels that is creating great content as well. So look, Ido, let's kick off, and in the meantime, please ask questions. Oh, there's Romulo from our community as well there in Sao Paulo, Brock in Texas, Muriel in Wisconsin, amazing, G's in Ireland, fantastic. So look, let's kick off. Ido, over to you. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, sure. So today's Tabula Rasa is going to be about interactions in Editor X, which is something that's been around for a while, and it has just recently received some more features. And I think we're gonna kick off by just showing how these new interactions work, and because I think a lot of our viewers would really gain from this. And after that, well, actually, all along this week, we're thinking of what can we do, what can we show that will give like the biggest gain to our users and to our viewers. And we did get some inspiration, and I'll show you that in a bit later. But first of all, I want to show you how interactions work inside Editor X. And I think you'll find this very informative, and definitely it will open some creative juices in you as well. All right, so first of all, I think we'll go straight into the editor and start talking about interactions. All right, so the new thing about interaction, or the change that has come now from the way interactions used to work in Editor X is, first of all, before we only had hover interactions, and now we've introduced click interactions as well. And I'm going to show you exactly how that works. And also, the way that interactions worked before is that you would apply only a hover interaction on a certain container, and inside that container, you could affect the container itself or the elements inside the container, but everything in the hover was contained into that container. And now that has changed, and basically you can apply trigger interaction that will trigger any effect or animation, and they don't have to be related or in the same container. They don't have to be connected, and I'm going to demonstrate that now. So I'm going to do this firstly, really, like, I'm not gonna put an emphasis on the design. I'm just gonna show you how this works. So let me just bring in a container in here real quick. And And I'll just put it here. And I'll duplicate this container by clicking Command D or Control D on a PC. And I'll just put it here. I'm just laying it out. I'm not using any layout tools, no grids, nothing like that. I just want to show you the interactions. And I'm going to put in a text here just for like the emphasis. And this text is going to be called trigger. And this is going to be our trigger. I'll duplicate it, and I'll take this text here, and I'm going to say that this one is going to be called affected element. Just center this. Make it 100%. Yeah, that's it. Make this one 100% as well, so our text won't break. And the concept here is I can go to this container here, and this container is going to be my affected element, meaning that the effect is going to happen on this container. And here I have the interactions panel in the inspector. And here I have triggers and effects. So I'm on the effects tab, and now I'm going to add an effect to this container. And I have all sorts of presets here that are ready-made, but I'm going to go ahead and create a custom effect. And I'll call this effect Grow 1. And then I can go on and start designing. All right. So now I'm going to apply the effect to this container. All right, so what I can do here is change the opacity. I can rotate, I can scale, I can skew it. I can translate X and Y, meaning that I can move it on the X and Y axes. And I'll just do that. So let's say that I want to make the opacity 50%, and we can already see that on the screen. I want to make the scale 150. Right. Yeah, 150%. And I also want to make this 150%. So basically the effect is going to be that this affected element is going to grow. I can maybe play with the skew a little bit, like maybe give it, I don't know, like sort of an angle like that. I'm really doing it really ugly now, but that doesn't matter. I just want to show you the principle using this example here. All right, and here I can also play with my timing, meaning how long the effect is gonna happen. All right, so basically, let's say I want this to the duration of this effect to be 1 second. So I can state the start of the effect and the end of it. So this is going to start at 0, meaning the effect is going to happen immediately as I trigger it. I can also put in another number here, and then the effect will happen with the delay of where I start this number. So I can say I want the start to be 1 second and the end, I want it to end at 2 seconds, meaning that when this effect will be triggered, it will wait 1 second and then the effect will happen. That's a sort of way of giving it a delay. So I'm going to change this back to 0 for now. I'll leave it at 2 seconds so we can really see the effect. And basically, I've done editing my effect. All right. But as for now, nothing is going to happen because what I have to do now is I have to trigger this effect in some way. All right. And I can go ahead and I can add a trigger. I can even add the trigger to the element itself, meaning when I hover or click on this element on this container, then I can make that effect happen. But what I'm going to do is actually choose the trigger container, and I'm going to add a trigger to it that will affect the affected container. So what I can do is go to select the trigger container. I'm going to add a trigger here. And here I can choose either click or hover to be the trigger. Let's choose click. Okay. So here we have this dialog box open, and here, this is the interaction setup. So here I have to choose the affected element, and by default, the affected element is the element that I'm on right now, but that's not what I want. I want the affected element to be this container. So what I can do is open this dropdown, and then I can say choose on canvas, and then I can click the container, or I can choose it from the layers panel in the same way. I'll just choose it on the stage. And then you can see that the target element is container, and I can hit done right now. And it takes me back to that dialog from before. Oh, sorry. Seem to have gotten out of it. Just a minute. Yeah, I'll do it again. I'll click.
I don't see your mouse.
You're not seeing my mouse?
No. Do you see Maria or she?
No, I don't see it.
Yeah, maybe stop sharing and sharing it again, the screen.
All right, I'll try. Now you can see it?
Yes.
All right. All right, so I'll start again. So again, I'm going to go to the trigger container. It's now selected. I'm going to add a trigger. It's going to be a click interaction. And here, the affected element, I'm going to choose it from the canvas. I'll hit choose on canvas and select the container. I'm going to hit done here once the container is selected. And then I have all sorts of action types here. So let's just leave this for now at apply an effect. All right. So then when I select the effect, it knows that this grow one that I applied to this affected element, it appears here because we selected this container. All right. So we're saying grow one, and then we're going to hit done. And let's see what happens now.
So all the effect in the list, in the drop downs, are related to the affected elements, right?
Yes, 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 that's correct.
I mean, I will see only the effects for this element, not like in the whole site.
Yes, that's correct.
All right.
All right, so let's preview this. And we can already see that when I hover over the trigger container, we have a pointer, meaning that it's clickable. And once I click on it, you can see that the effect has happened. Magic. Some tabula rasa magic. All right. So we saw that we can, basically, when we click on it, it triggers the effect. But when we click on it again, nothing really happens. That's because we set the trigger to only apply the effect, but we have some more options in there. So we can go to the trigger itself and go to this click interaction, edit it. And instead of it applying an effect, we can say, you know what? I'm going to do something else. I'm going to add another container here. I'm going to add another container. I'm going to copy this text, put it in here. And this one is going to be remove effect. Whoops. All right. What we can do, I can choose a different element altogether. I can go to it. I can add a trigger here, and let's say that it will be, you know what, we can do what should I do? Click or hover? What do you think?
Click.
Let's
Let's keep
do-
and then
Let's do it with click. You're right. So here again, I want to choose the affected element. And again, the affected element is going to be this one. So I'm going to choose on canvas, choose it, hit done. It's going to bring me back to the dialog. And this time the action type will be remove an effect. And the effect will be grow one. And then I'm going to hit done. And this is a really good opportunity to show you another thing here. So basically, if I click on this one, it triggers the effect. And if I click on remove effect, then it brings it back. Now, as you can see, there's something strange going on here. When I triggered, it takes 2 seconds, but when I choose remove effect, it's like happening really fast. That's because we can set different timings for the entrance of the effect and for the exit of the effect. And I'll show you how.
Also new options, right? Because before we can only apply and remove the effect in same time.
Yes.
The duration was equal to both.
Yes,
options.
I believe so. Yes.
All right.
So what can I do to change the timing of how this effect returns? So here you see in the effect that I have the effect itself, and I have something called the initial state. And if I go and edit the initial state, and I can also switch between them, you can see that the timing here is 0 to 0.3. This is the exit animation. It's really fast. So, and if I look at the effect itself, it's 0 to 2 seconds. But I can also change the initial state, and I'll change it to 2 seconds as well. Hopefully, let's see now. I trigger the effect, it takes 2 seconds. I remove the effect, it also takes 2 seconds.
Okay, so because you removed the effect, so basically the element is going back to the initial state.
Yes.
And this is why
And
it's
what
the initial state
it goes back to the initial state in the timing that is set for the initial state. And that gives you flexibility. Sometimes this is something that you need.
Yeah.
You might have some maybe ordering that you want specific sequence of animation to happen in one order, but in the exit effect, you will want to have a different order. That's also something you can do here. Yeah. Another thing that we can do, and this is another example that I'm going to show. I'm going to again bring another container here, and this could be, you know what, we'll do something else. This could be anything. This could be a shape. This could be a line. This could be a video. This could be whatever element that you want. This could be some text. You can use anything you want. Let's just bring in a shape in here, and we're going to apply a trigger to this shape. And here I'm going to show another way of doing this, and I'm going to add a trigger. And this time, let's use hover. All right. So when we hover on this trigger, on this basic shape, which is going to be our trigger. So first of all, we need to choose the affected element. And again, I'm going to choose my container here, which already has an effect, right? And I'm going to hit done. And this time the action type, oh, it can't be like this in hover. I'm going to change it to click. So this is something that I realized right now. I can only, yeah, because in hover, it anyway goes back to the initial state when you're unhovered. Let's try that. I'm going to use apply an effect, and I'm going to choose grow one.
So if I'm choosing the trigger to be hovered, it's automatically when I'm hovering.
It's automatically going to toggle. It's going to toggle between the initial state and the effect. And if we do it, you see when I hover on the star, the effect happens. And when I hover out, it goes out. I'll show another example. I'll bring in another shape in here. Let's bring this shape in here. And again, I'm going to add a trigger. It's going to be a click this time. And again, I'm going to choose, as you guessed, the container to be the affected element. But this time, from this action type, I can choose another option, which is toggle an effect on or off, on and off. And I'm going to select again, grow one. And now, as I preview this, if I click this, it's going to toggle it on. And if I click again, it's going to toggle the effect off. Cool?
So wait, click once
Yes.
and then hover the star and then hover out.
If I hover out, the hover out of the star is going to take place. You understand? Like I can click this, I can create the effect. Then I hover in, but if I hover in, the effect is already implemented on the affected element. But once I hovered out of the star, it's again, it's going to trigger the out animation. So if I hover out now, then it's going to trigger the out animation. So this is the basic logic of how interactions work in Editor X, and you can really get creative with this and really get some really cool stuff. And I'm going to show you a very cool example. And this is like something Matanya and I thought about at the beginning of this week. We thought about how can we show hover interaction in a way that's going to be cool and practical, and that will also have, I believe, a nice impression on you guys. So is there anything that's not clear yet that someone wants me to go over before we go into the example?
So I like to recap the way that interaction is applied now. So basically, any element on the side, you can create a spatial effect to it, right? You can create a library of effect, move,
Yes.
rotate, whatever you want, give it a proper name, and then you can, and then any element can trigger these effects, right? So you need to choose the affected element and select from the library of effects you already created.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I can go here into this container. I can go and I can add another effect here. Okay, let's say I add another effect, and this time the effect is going to be, I'll just leave it at effect 2.
Let's select one of the presets.
Okay.
Like the spin. It's pretty, where is it?
Okay, so I'm going to add an effect, and you're saying add the spin effect, right?
Right.
Okay. I'm going to hit done, and I have the spin effect here. And now I'll just add another shape to trigger it. Let's say this purple star here. And I'm going to go to trigger. I'm going to add a trigger. Click or hover. What do we want to do?
Hover.
All right. Let's choose hover. Let's choose the affected element, and it's going to be this container, right?
Right. So now you choose from 2 options, right?
So now if I go to the effects, I can see that I have grow 1 and spin 1 in here.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll choose spin 1. I'll hit done. And when I preview this,
it flips.
yeah, some crazy stuff.
Amazing.
So wait, go to the, apply the skew effect with the opacity, right?
Yes.
By clicking on the blue shape. click on it,
Yeah.
and now hover the purple star. So it's spin with the skew, right?
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
it's actually going back to its initial state here.
Oh, because you need to set also the skew and opacity.
Because we're mixing two effects in here.
Right. All right. You can go crazy with it.
Yes,
But,
definitely. And
I got the idea.
okay, so one of the inspirations that I think really caught us this week, I'm going to show you how it looks, the design. So we might have sometimes these sites where you may have maybe a product where you can click on a certain point on the product like we see here, and then we would like something to happen, some kind of interactivity with this thing that we have here. Pushing on different points, it might bring us a tooltip, it might zoom in to the product. This might not be even a product. Maybe we want to build kind of a map where it shows us different point on a map. And when we click, maybe it shows us some information on the point we clicked, and it zooms in and zooms out, and things happen and interact. All of this is basically the realm of code usually. But in Editor X, we're going to try to attempt to build something like this without using any code, with using only interactions, and hopefully it's going to work. All right, I'm nervous, guys. Okay, so let's go back to the editor, and let me just fix my screen here. I'm gonna bring this here and go back to the editor.
Hey, so just while you're doing that, can I just give we have a question here from Noah asking, do effects triggers happen across all breakpoints, or can you set different effects and triggers for different breakpoints?
That's an interesting question. I'm almost sure that you can, but we can put this to the test. Let's do it. All right, I'm getting a whisper here that we can do it. I'm gonna skip it for now because I want us to have time for the demo. But yes, Noah, we can.
Awesome. Let's pick it up in the community, Noah. We can talk about it there.
Yes. Okay. So what I'm gonna do here is we have our section here. I think we're going to remove this header for now. And I think I'm going to make this section, I'm going to give it a height. And I'm going to use calculation here. And I'm going to make it 100 VH minus 50 pixels. And the reason that I'm using 100 VH minus 50 pixels is because we have the Editor X banner on sites that aren't premium, and I want to calculate that out as I work. Okay. Another new feature that we have in Editor X, just by the way, not related to interactions, but we can add background to our background colors and use gradients as well in our section colors. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to add here a gradient, and I'm going to set it, something like this. I'm going to change the color here to black. And I'm going to change this color here to this sort of grayish color. And I want to take this opportunity to thank our amazing, talented designer, Eliran, which we asked him to create this design for us, and basically he did some crazy Photoshop work on this image. So basically what he did here was take these wheels that we have here and separate them from the body of the bicycle, from the like skeleton of the bicycle. So we have the bicycle skeleton separate from the wheels, and that's because we want to do some interactions on that. So let's bring it in. And I think another really big gain from this is that we are going to make this responsive as well. And we're going to show you how you can place these elements together on the screen. And we want, when we scale our screen wider and narrower, so that they will remain in place. So I'm going to add in, I already have these images in my media. So this is the body of the bicycle. We can see it here. I'll just center it in the section like this. And yeah, maybe make it 40%, something like this. And then I'm going to add in my wheels. So basically it's the same wheel. I'm going to resize it. And I'm going to put it approximately here. So now, as you can see, it's basically in front of the image of the bicycle body. I'm just in a second going to take it so it will be behind it. First, I'll duplicate because I need another wheel here. And I can use the guides that Editor X offers me to align this wheel to the other wheel. I'll just place it like this. Something like that. And let's also add our, let's bring them back first. We'll bring them using the layers panel. I'm bringing them behind the bicycle image. So now it looks pretty good. Okay. Nice. So now I'll bring in my dots, like my buttons. I'll make it a bit smaller, like maybe something like this. And I'll drag it to wherever I want it to be. And I'll duplicate that. And let's add another point here. Okay. Cool.
And now it's the community questions. I wonder how you're going to dock it.
This is a question?
Yes.
This is exciting me. Woo!
How are you going to dock
Vicky.
in all
Shout
these
out to Vicky.
together?
Okay, so first let's see what happens. I'm at 1680. My image looks great. My composition is awesome. But what's going to happen when I resize my screen? Is it going to be a massive fail? Yes, it is. It's failure.
It's kind of an effect, you know?
You like it? I like it too. All right. So let's go back to 1680 because we know that in 1680 everything looked fine, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select all of these elements that I have here. And I'm multi-selecting them by pressing Shift. And I have all my elements selected now. And what I'm going to do here is use Place in Container. And now all these elements are sitting inside one container. But I am guessing that this won't be enough for this to be responsive. So if I drag to resize, we basically get the same thing. Why is that?
Container
good
height.
That's a good question, actually. And it's not just container height, it's also because some of these elements are docked to the top, some of them are docked to the bottom. They are all docked in pixels, so these are not responsive size units. So let's see how we.
But if you change everything to percent, right? And you're removing the height.
Well, actually,
It should
I don't
work.
know. I can try it. It should work, but the way I like to do it is if I have to scale things proportionally, I at least want the top, like the top or bottom docking to be the same. Do you want to try it a different way? I'm open to that.
No, it won't work because the body, which I thought is the biggest image here, as you can see, it's not reaching to the bottom of the wheels. So you still have some pixels that you need. So the wheels must be docking
to the top.
Right.
All right, so let's do that. Let's take this wheel and remove the docking from the bottom. I'm going to dock it to the top, and then I'm going to change the docking to percentage. And I'm also going to take this image here, and I'm going to release the bottom docking, dock it to the top, and change it to percentage. The side docking is already in percentage, so we don't need to touch that. And I can also, I have this 1% margin. I'm not going to touch that right now because I don't want to mess up. If I move it, then the body is going to move from the wheels. I'm going to leave that. And then I'm going to select this one. I'm going to change the top docking to percentage. And I think we have to change this wheel as well. And I'm going to release the bottom docking, dock it to the top, change it to percentage. What do you say? Is it going to work now? Wait.
Let's see. Did you remove the height from
wait.
Yeah,
let's see.
All right. So it should work
because it's still working. Yeah.
Only the container is
we see that the container is too big, and it's not, it's as a result of that, it's not in the center of the screen. So let's go back. Let's remove the minimum height from the container. The reason we don't need this minimum height now is because all of these items have margins and they're pushing the container. They are the one that are determining the height of the container now. So I'm just going to hit none here, and I gave a big breath of air. Everything is remaining in the same place. And let's preview this now. And we can see that we have a perfectly scaling, proportionally scaling design here. And it's scaling until we reach 320, and it's perfect. We do have something here happening. You see that these are cut off?
Yeah.
Why is that happening?
I guess the height is only with percentage.
The height.
No, it's not. It's
supposed to scale proportionally. All right. That's kind of weird. We need to check this out, I think.
No, go to tablet. Maybe there is different settings in tablet or mobile.
No.
In tablet, it's okay, but in mobile. Oh, but now it's look okay.
Yeah, it was maybe something with the refreshing and the resizing of it.
Yeah.
It looks okay now. All right. So it was just a small glitch. All right. So now that we have...
Before we are going to continue. So to make everything perfectly responsive, first, you position all the elements that they will fit to the shape of this bicycle, including the dots, the plus dots, right? Then you put everything inside a container. So now they are all, the position of the element is related to its parent container, right? And then you convert, and then you adjust the docking to basically same direction to the top, because you want, you need the element to be in relations to the item inside. And finally, you change all the margin from pixels to percentage, so we get the scaling.
And just to say that by default, when we drag images into our canvas, by default, they are set to a value that's in percentage, and they are set to scale proportionally. So if I would have some value here in pixels, or maybe something in percentage here and height in pixels, then they wouldn't be scaling the way that we want them to scale.
And hey, Ido, Vicky is asking about docking as VW for height. What do you think about that?
Well, actually, you can, but I think that in this example, you don't really need to do that, because we have let's check out the hierarchy.
You can, but it's risky, because VW is based on the viewport width, and we want the wheels to always be related to the container, not the window width. So for example, if you use VW here, it will work perfectly until you set some minimum width to the container. So if you want the container to be responsive, the width of it will be 58.4%, but you don't want it to be smaller than, I don't know, for example, 500 pixels. Then when it reaches to the 500 pixels, things will start to mess up. And you can show it like really quickly. So if you want to show the real example.
I just want to center this bike here, because I see that we have some margins. Now it's good. So you're saying again that I should, what will happen if I convert this now to VW instead of percentage?
Now nothing.
Yeah, but
no, let's try it. Convert it to VW, so it's based on the viewport width, right?
yes.
And start to shrink the screen. No, only one, only the width.
Okay.
So it's working, right?
Yes.
But now set minimum width for the container of the whole container.
Oh yeah, I get where you're going with this. So
For example, I don't know,
so-
300. No, three. Do 500.
I can just
Okay.
add pixels here. So here, until we get here, we're fine. And when we reach this point, whoops.
Which is pretty awesome, I got to say.
Yeah, I think it's awesome too.
So now the wheel is listening to the screen width and not to its parent. So this can mess up your layout.
Nice. This is a really important point. So I undid this, and we're back to where this wheel is in percentage, and there's no minimum width on the container. Okay. So let's start working on how we can do some interactions. Okay. So this is actually really, I think this is even the easier part of this. Let's see. So first of all, I want to take care of zooming in and out into this bicycle. And just to point out that these images are very high resolution, and we on purpose, we put in these images to be that way. So when we zoom out, we won't get any pixelation or something like that. So I'm going to choose this container, and then I'm going to go
Wait,
to
what do you want to do?
what I want to do is I want to zoom in into this bicycle
By clicking on.
by clicking on one of these points, on both of them.
Actually, like you said before, right now we don't care what will be the trigger. We need to set the effect first, right?
Definitely. All right, so I'm going to go again to my interactions panel, and I'm going to choose the effects tab, and notice that I'm selected on the entire container, and I'm going to add an effect here, and I'm going to create a custom effect. And this effect is the effect that's going to happen when I click on this first point. So I'm going to call this effect Zoom 1. And then I'm going to hit Start Designing, and I'll just move this window here. So first of all, in order to zoom, what do we need to do?
Scaling.
We need to scale. We need to scale this. So here you can scale on the X axis and also on the Y axis. But because we want it to scale uniform, then we have to change and give the same value here. So let's try 150% and 150% here. Maybe that's a bit too much. Let's try maybe 120 and 120. Not enough. 130. All right. Nice. And we also want something to happen in terms of the movement. We want sort of a panning movement when we click that. So it not only zooms in, but it also focuses on the correct place where we want the interaction to happen. And I'm going to use the translate X for that. So let's see what happens if I give it 30%. And I'm dealing in percentages because I want this to be responsive, and I want the same movement on no matter what screen size I'm on. That's why I'm using percentages here. And let's try and move it on the Y-axis a bit as well. If I move it 10% here, yeah, it's actually bringing the bicycle down. So I want the opposite. So I'm going to give this minus 10%. And now it's more or less the way I want it. And I also want the timing to be, let's say, 1 second. And I'm gonna just hit the play button just to see how this looks. I think that's nice. I think that's nice.
So you kind of want to focus on the rear wheel,
yes,
right?
Yes. And what I'm going to do next, what should I do next? Should I set up the other effect, or should I set up the trigger that will trigger this effect? What do you guys want to do?
Hey, Ido, can I jump in with a couple of questions, and maybe that might help guide us?
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, I've got one from Arnie. Thank you, Arnie. Is there a way to link the width and height so that when you change the value of one dimension, the other one adjusts proportionately?
Right now, there's no, you mean like, I'm assuming that you mean that you want to lock this scale. So when you change it to 130% here, it will also change to 130% on the Y-axis. Not right now, but this is excellent feedback, and I agree that maybe we should talk to the Editor X team and suggest this this feature.
Nice one. Yes, actually, we will bring that to the product team. We do bring feedback to them, folks, and if you do have any feedback for the team. Anything that you post in Community X, we bring to them as well. So please do go for that. Thanks for that, Arnie. And we have a question from Noah. Hey, Noah. Currently, the triggers we have are on click and hover, mouse in, mouse out. Are there plans for other triggers such as viewport, enter, leave, mapped to scroll position, etc.?
The Editor X team is always working on new features, and interactions is something that definitely is in focus. And I know that, yes, there are plans. I can't say exactly when more interactions are going to come. But yes, definitely, we're talking about viewport enter. We're talking about connecting it to scroll. But I don't have an exact like a deadline or timeline when this will happen. But we'll keep you updated. And of course, when these things come, we'll definitely let you guys know about it and create some more content like this.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, Noah's one of our amazing community leaders, and we will make sure, Noah, that also gets fed back to our product team. And yeah, like I said, if there are feedback, suggestions or anything like that, send them over to us, folks. There are people who are very keen to hear what you'd like to see. So please do let us know.
So I'm seeing the chat here, and I'm seeing that Abdullah is asking for a trigger, please. Okay, I'm going with what the audience wants. All right, so let's set up the trigger for this one. All right, so we're done with the effect, and now I can choose my trigger, which is the image. I'm going to go to trigger. I'm going to add a trigger, and it's going to be a click trigger. The affected element is going to be the entire container, so I'm going to choose it from the canvas. Hit done, gets me back to the dialog, and the action type actually that I want to use here is toggle. So I'm going to toggle the effect on and off with a click, and I'm going to select the effect, which is zoom 1, of course, and let's hit done, and let's go in preview, and let's see what happens.
Nice.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So if you click again, it will go back, right?
If I click again, it's going back. Notice that we need to set the initial state of the timing of the initial state, so it will go back in the same rate, the same timing. So let's do that. Let's go to zoom 1. Let's go to the initial state and also set it to 1 second, so it will come back in the same rate. Hit done, preview, and then I'll click. And I want to notice, and I knew this would happen, but look what happened now. We get this like kind of horizontal scrolling going on, and this is getting off the screen. So the way we can fix that is we can go to our section, and we can set the overflow content, which is now set to show. We can change that to hide. And once I do that and preview, you'll see that now, even if I try, you're not seeing me try to scroll, but I am trying to scroll and not succeeding at that. So that's how we can fix that issue. All right, let's quickly set up the next effect. So again, I'm going to choose the container.
Oh, wait. What about the wheels?
Do you want to do it now? I want to first do the zoom.
With the first zoom. No?
What? No, it doesn't have to be connected.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So.
But
now,
the wheel must spin.
How much time do we have? The wheel will spin.
The wheel will spin.
All right. So now I'm going to choose the container again, and I'm going to add another effect to that container. And I'm going to again choose custom effect. This one is going to be zoom 2, and I'm going to start designing. And again, I'm going to give it 130% scale. And This time I want it, let's say 30, if I move it 30%, yeah, I need to give it minus 30% on the X. And let's just maybe leave the Y axis as it is. Maybe even give this 135.
We have interesting questions from Tamara. So we set as we click on an element, it will trigger effect on the other element, right? Can we apply also effect on the clicked element on the trigger itself?
Yes.
Same
Yes,
time?
We
For
definitely can.
example, if we click on the plus button, can you
Yes.
spin it 45 degrees?
All right, let's try that. Let's finish with the zoom and then we'll get to that.
All right.
So I think we're done with the effect. And now I'm going to choose the image and add a trigger here. And it's going to be a click. The affected element, again, I will choose it on the canvas and it will be the container. I'm going to hit done. I'm going to choose toggle effect on and off. And this time I'm going to choose zoom 2. Okay. And let's preview. Nice. It's happening. And this one is happening as well. Let's see if I go here and then I go here. So that happened. But now, if I toggle this one again, it's not zooming out, it's going back to this effect, to the state of this effect. And I'll show you how we can deal with that in just a second, because the behavior that I want is if I toggle between these two dots, and if now I hit this one again, I want the bicycle to zoom back out. But we'll see that in a second. I want to try what Tamara suggested. So we're saying basically that when we click on this element, in addition to the zoom that's happening, we also want it to rotate 45%, right, Matanya?
Right.
Okay, so
Degrees.
what we need to do is add an effect to this image here, and it's going to be custom effect, and this would be called
self-rotate.
Rotate circle 45, and I'll just call this 2 because this is the second one. So just in order to be organized, so I know what's going on. And you're saying just rotate it 45 degrees like this, right? Let's leave the timing. Let's leave the timing as is. And hit done. But now we also need to add a trigger that will trigger this animation. So again, we'll go to trigger, we'll add a new interaction, and we're under click here. So this is going to be a click interaction. And this time the affected element is the image itself. And we're going to apply effect. And again, it's going to be toggle an effect on and off. And the effect that I'm going to choose is rotate circle 45, number 2. Let's see if it works. Wow, I think that's beautiful. Nice. So we can do that. Another thing that I wanted to show is what I showed you before with toggling on and off, like switching between these dots and then wanting to zoom out. So what I can do here, and this is some more advanced stuff, but I want to show it anyway. So basically we have a trigger here. So I can add yet another trigger here that when I click on this button, it will not only toggle the zoom off, it will also take the animation off of this this wheel. So I
Remove
can
the animation.
I want to remove the animation off this wheel, and that way when I click on this, it will zoom out. So bear with me, guys. This is kind of more complex because the logic is getting more and more like complex in here, but it's just to show you the power of what can be done. So what I'm going to do, I'm adding a new interaction here, and the affected element is going to be again the container. And this time I want to remove an effect, and I want to remove the effect that zoom 1 creates. So I'm going to choose this one to remove zoom 1. And I'm also going to choose this image here. I'm going to, let's also add the 45-degree interaction here. So we'll add the effect. I'll do it real quick. I'm calling it rotate 45 1. And then I'm going to say 45 degrees. And I'm going to hit done. And in the triggers, I'm going to add a new interaction to the element itself.
Of that, it's important to say that it's the best practice to give them meaningful names for your animation, so you can be able to track the flow, what you want to add, what you want to remove.
So now
the animation is getting complex, so you need to remember what effect doing.
Yeah, definitely we need to keep track of what we're doing, because as you can see, this will help you manage things in a better way. So now I'm going to add another interaction here, and this time I'm going to choose the container again. And again, I'm going to remove an effect, and this time this trigger will remove zoom 2. And I'll just show you what all the actions that we did here now caused. So basically, we can zoom in here. We had the rotation, and we zoom out, and everything is fine. And then we can go in here, and then we can click on this one. So we also needed to remove this interaction when we move between them, right? I'm not going to do that now, but listen, if I click again on this one, it's not going to come back like before. It's now going to zoom out. So I'm going into this one. I can go then to this one. And then if I click this one again, it doesn't go back, it zooms out. And that's like the behavior that we were looking for. I need to be perfect with this. So what I'm going to do is when I click again on this one, I'm going to even add another trigger here. So we're getting really crazy. And again, the affected element would be the container. And this time I want to remove an effect. And the effect that I want to remove, sorry, it doesn't need to be the container. Yeah, you see, it's Tabula Rasa. I'm getting confused here as well.
I don't know. I'm waiting for the wheels.
Yeah.
Getting,
you'll get him. You'll get him. So I choose the image, and I chose to remove an effect, and I'm gonna remove rotate 45 1. And now I'm gonna go to this one. I'm gonna add a new interaction. The affected element is gonna be this image. And I'm going to remove an effect, and it's going to be rotate circle 45 2. And let's see how it works now. I think it's going to be good. So I go in, and if we go and click this button, what should happen is this should be rotated back to its original state. Let's see. Yes, it is. If I go to this one now, this should go back to its original state. And if I click again, it should zoom out, and then we're on where we want to be. All right. And
And
now the
also-
wheels, right?
Right, but we want to, if we have more time, we want to display like when you click the plus button, the bike is zoomed in, and then you see like a pop-up with more information. So you can do it, you can do anything you want. But we don't have.
I
to
think
show it,
we,
but-
I think I can like push some more time if we want to show that. I think it will be cool.
I want to see the wheels spinning.
All right, so now we want to take care of our wheels. And we
Hey,
will.
Ido, can I jump in with a couple of questions?
Yes.
This is a good one from Lisa, actually. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa saying it seems that you could also set a trigger that if someone clicks on the screen, I guess by applying trigger to the background, that it could remove all effects. Is that correct?
Yes, we have to think
We
about
have
it.
remove all effects, but it's from
No,
each
it's-
item. So you need to
Yeah.
select all the triggered items and remove the effect. But this is also a good feedback, you know. If you want to reset the whole animation at once,
Yes, we actually can, but as I'm thinking of it, like the container is a child of the section. So basically, if we're clicking on the container, no matter where we're clicking, then we're clicking on the section as well. So
Right.
if you're clicking on the section and you have like something on the section that makes you remove all the effects, in that case, what I would do in this case is maybe add another container, like maybe a transparent container from behind this container, and then the trigger would be on that container, which is a sibling of the affected container and not a parent of it. I
Got
don't know if I'm making sense, but I think that
workaround.
if you this is the workaround for what you want to do, because if you're going to place then once you click the container, because the container is a child of the section, it's like you would be clicking on the section, and then that would be a conflict.
Cool. And I see we've Kimberly's here as well, one of our community leaders, and Kimberly's asking, can you share the initial trigger and affected area sample and the bicycle sample you worked with in today's Tabula Rasa? And Kimberly saying that basically if it could be shared as a library asset link for people to download, for them to be able to review all the effect settings at their leisure.
I think we can review that. We didn't do any plans for this, but we'll get back to Kimberly and everyone about this. I don't think it's supposed to be a problem, but we need to check this.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Ido.
Okay, so the wheels must be turned. All right, so what we can do now is set some effects on the wheels. So we're going to add an effect to the wheel, and this is going to be rotate wheel 1. Start designing, and let's rotate it.
okay,
No, is not too little. Let's try.
because
Let's see how
the zoom is not that big, so it's
let's see
like
how it works.
the movement.
Yeah, but I think we need some more.
How much the bicycle are moving?
Let's try 180. Something like this.
90. All right, the middle way. All right, let's try it. You can change it like in
Yeah.
a second.
No problem. So, all
But
right.
the timing should be same as the bicycle movement, right?
Yeah,
it's
it is.
also
It's
1 second.
1 second. Yeah, it's 1 second. All right. So basically what we need to do now is go to the trigger here and add another interaction here, which affects the wheel. All right, so I selected the wheel and it's going to toggle it on and off. And I'm going to choose rotate wheel. By the way, I could have done this in one go and select the container, and inside the zoom one effect, I could have triggered both the effects of the zoom and of the spinning of the wheel. I chose to do it separately now, but it's not obligatory. You can do it like separately or together. Let's see.
Wait, but you animate only one wheel.
Yeah, I'm just doing this one first.
Oh, all right.
So we see that we have it. It's happening.
All right. I think the 90 is okay.
Yeah. And let's try the other one. So I choose the image, add an effect, custom. I'm going to say rotate wheel 2. I'm going to start designing. I'm going to choose 90. And I'm going to choose 1 second. And then I'm going to hit done, choose the image, add the trigger. And the affected element needs to be this image here. Hit done. Toggle on and off. And select rotate wheel 2.
Maybe some of you it look like very fast and very easy, but actually you need to play with it a little bit to really understand how it's work.
So here is this wheel, and here is this wheel. And if I go here,
Wait, on the right plus button, it should go back. It's spinning minus 90. I don't see.
it's spinning 90.
Both wheel always should spin together.
All right.
As same interaction.
Okay, let's do that. So what we can do here, so you're saying that I need to add a trigger to this one to toggle
Spin the front wheel.
this one as well. All right, let's do that. So I'm going to add a new one, and I'm going to choose the affected element again. And this time I'm going to choose this element here, right?
Right.
And I'm going to toggle effect on and off and choose rotate wheel 2. And when I preview, if I choose them, that's really cool.
Amazing.
It's so cool. Vicky says, I think this is a weird question, but I think this is a great question. And maybe you've already done it, Ido, but what Vicky's asking is, if you set the timing of the wheel to spin for 10 seconds, can we go to another trigger before the timing finishes?
I'm not sure I understand it.
Risky.
Maybe we can take it later.
And
all right.
It's like building a game already. You know, if you the faster link, fastest clicker.
Well, we have some people coming in here saying they want fast spinning, faster go. So
Faster the bike will go outside the screen, you know.
There's a lot of opinions about how fast it should go and how it should spin. So yeah, actually Jesse has a question as well. Thanks Jesse for this question.
I'm just gonna, in the meantime, I'm gonna add the trigger to this one as well. Mm-hmm. So
can the bike do wheelie out like off the screen?
It can do anything you want. All right, let's see. So the bike is going, the bike is going back, the bike is going, the bike is going again. and the bike is going back. Wow.
Perfect.
Great. I don't want to scare you with Jesse's question, but can we see it in mobile and tablet view?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
No, on mobile.
It's gonna-
Go see the publish site.
Wait, what did I do now?
You click on the create menu.
This
Let's
is
see the
why
publish version.
All right, let's publish the site.
This is why it's worth sticking around for.
Oh,
Tabula
wait, I
Rasa.
need to set this one as the home page. Just for a second, publish again. And go see it.
Oh, this we need to fix, right? Because it's spin in front to the front and go back.
This one. Yeah, yeah.
But not now. Let's see tablet mobile.
So basically I can resize however I want. Of course, I can change the proportions if I go to tablet mobile, but as you can see, this is working perfectly, scaling proportionally, zooming in the same way that we want it.
Can you share the link in the chat?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Now I'll take it to my phone.
All right, do we have some time for doing the tooltip?
I think we do, Ido. I mean, if people are happy to stick around, I think we have some folks who are really keen to see it. And yes, people are saying yes, please. This is great, and you've got a lot of clapping hands and enthusiasm for this. So yeah, let's do it. If folks can't stick around, we will be sharing the recording. I know this is a long session, but no worries if you can't stick around, folks. We will share the recording, but please do feel free to stay.
So let's try just doing it. I'm gonna do it really rough, but let's try. So basically, what I think I'm gonna do here is add it in a container, and I'm gonna attach it to this container here. Let's make it a bit smaller. And let's give it maybe some rounded edges so it would look nicer. 15 pixels. Something like this. Now I'm going to place it here. And I want it, of course, to be docked to the top with percentage. And I think that we can't leave this in pixels. You see that if I'm going to leave it in pixels, I'll just take it behind. I want something like this. So you see, because this has a minimum height in pixels, it's not positioning in the same in the way that I want. It's not scaling as I want it to be. So one method that
wait, but if you change in the docking to the bottom,
but I'm still going to have minimum height.
I know, but the circle maybe will still be in position. Try it for a second.
Yeah, sure.
In percentage, yeah. Yeah, it's okay, I guess, no?
Yeah, yeah. I thought that it would scale totally proportionally and stay the same.
Right, because we are zooming in, zooming out, right? So
Yeah. So maybe I'll make it a bit, I'll dock it to the top as the same as the other ones. And I'll
I'm
just
coming back in a second.
okay. And maybe make it a bit taller. Maybe something like this. So this is kind of, it looks like kind of blocking. So maybe we can change the opacity of the container. Like maybe set it to 80%, so it would appear and we can see the bike from behind. And I want to show you guys a way of making containers scale proportionally, because usually containers have a height of auto height and they don't have the scale proportionally option the same way as images do. But what we can do in order to make them scale proportionally, we can take this pixel value and we can convert it to VW. I know we talked that VW might kind of be dangerous, but in this particular example, we can use that. And you'll see now that as I resize my screen, we have a scaling proportionally design. Nice. So I'm going to add in like a small text here. That's way too big. So let's just add in some text scale, and I'm going to make it maybe something like this. Maybe make it, I don't know, 80%. Yeah, maybe something like this. I'll just delete some text just for the demonstration. I don't want this to be too much text here. This needs, of course, this needs some playing around and some tinkering in order to get it like perfect. But let's see now how it behaves. Yeah, I think that it's still too much, and maybe we can get the text to even go lower like this. Yeah, I think that's nice. Of course, it looks very small, but you have to remember that we're going to zoom in inside, so it will be bigger. So I think we're ready to trigger the interaction. Okay, so let's select this container, and this time I think we're gonna show a way of doing the interaction the other way around. What does that mean? I'm gonna select the container. I'm gonna select the interactions. I'm gonna go to effects. I'm gonna add an effect, and I'm gonna again choose custom, and I'm gonna call this tool tip 1. But now I'm not gonna edit the effect itself. What I am gonna edit is the initial state. The initial state is what happens before the effect is triggered. So I'm going to go to the initial state, and in the initial state, I'm going to set the opacity to 0. And then in the normal state, in the effect state, it's going to be 100. Okay, so let's hit done. And now I'm going to select this image here, add another trigger here. And this time the affected element is going to be the container, which I can't see right now because its initial state is set to opacity 0, but I can choose it.
It's even easier to choose it from the layers panel.
Yeah.
if you don't find it.
So I'm gonna again choose toggle an effect on or off, and then choose tooltip and hit done. And I'm gonna preview. Pretty nice. And when I click off, it clicks off. And if we want to do this, what we'll need to do, if we go to another point, to this point, I'll just show you this, and I think we'll finish off with this quick action here. So if I click on this one, then I need to remove the effect from the container as well, because when I click, I want this tooltip to go away. So I'm going to add another interaction here, and the affected element is going to be this container. And I'm going to remove an effect, and the effect is going to be tooltip 1. And I'm going to preview. I'm going to select this one. The tooltip appears. And then if I click this point, then this tooltip is going to disappear. And of course, I'm going to have some tooltip appear here. But I think we've covered a lot today. And it was very, very, very fun and really cool being with Matanya and Shiri and Maria and with all of you. And I want to give a shout out to Eliran and Amit for creating the Tabula Rasa poster for the Facebook and all the art around this event that we have here, and also for this amazing bicycle Photoshop work that I know that I definitely could not do. So thank you guys for that. And Maria,
I have something small to say. First of all, we have some homework because I saw it in my phone, and we should fix the rotation direction of the wheels, and we will do it. And the second thing I want to say is that if you have some ideas for us for the next sessions, so please feel free to suggest in the comments, and we'll try to cover them in the next Tabula Rasa.
Thanks, Matanya. Yeah, thanks, Ido. I've got that like warm fuzzy feeling from this because I can see people reacting. It's so cool, and it's like, you know, those Asmir videos where it kind of reminds me of that when you see the wheel spinning. But look, thank you so much, Ido, for another amazing session, and to Matanya and Shiri, and as Ido mentioned, everyone involved in the background as well for this. And of course, to everyone who joined, we appreciate you signing in and taking the time to be here with us today. And we really hope that you enjoyed the session. And as Matanya said, please do leave us suggestions about what you would like to see next. This is very much a community initiative as well that we want you guys to participate in and be involved in. And so look, let's continue that conversation as well in the Facebook group. There are so many amazing people creating some unbelievable things in Editor X, and they're talking about it and growing together in the community. So let's keep doing that, folks. But it's also a great place to just give us that feedback about what you would like to see next and how you enjoyed the session, and if there's anything that you'd like us to do or to change or anything like that too. We take all feedback on board. So please come along there, and I'll share the link in the chat. And like I said as well, please do check out the World of Editor X and I Love Editor X on YouTube for more great content. We'll see you in the community and at the next Tabula Rasa, which I know the guys are already planning for more web creation on the fly. And the recording, as we said, will be available as well later. We'll have another Tabula Rasa again for you soon. Meanwhile, next week, we do have some exciting events coming up, which you can check out in the events tab in the community. We have a live build session with Brandon Gross on Monday, and a couple of other things going on. So keep an eye out for those. But meanwhile, thank you to everybody involved. Thank you to everybody for coming along. And yeah, thank you, Ido, for another amazing Tabula Rasa.
The king.
Thank you all.